Yes, everyone, you know what time it is. It's your boy Jack and Nick here, and we're going to be bringing you the first edition of Twitter Reacts this summer, and we're going to be reacting to the signing of our new manager, Mr. Ange Postecoglou. Nick, how long will it take before you start calling him Big Ange?
I was calling him that weeks ago, man. Weeks ago. As soon as I heard Paul Beatty, it's just been going through my head right before I go to sleep every night for the last 3 months. Ange Postecoglou, Big Ange, stop dissing Big Ange. Over and over again. You know what? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, as they say, and now it's Ange's era. So
Mm.
I'm ready to go, man. 100%.
No longer is it Buenos Serate. It's, g'day, mate, each and every single day. And I'm looking forward to the likes of Ange Postecoglou. And we thought we'd sort of add a bit of humor to this and also as well just sort of get your thoughts, everybody, on the likes of sort of the Twitter sphere via this sort of news on Ange Postecoglou. So if you're sort of interested in kind of maybe featuring at all, in these sort of Twitter reacts, everybody, feel free to follow me there. It says Jack_Kanicki. And also feel free to follow Dave as well, which will also be using that account too at the IrishHotspur. But we're starting here with the big news. We are delighted to announce the appointment of Ange Postecoglou as our new head coach on a 4-year contract. I'm liking that serious face right there that they've edited in there. It's good
He
editing
pulls
skills.
that pretty well, man.
He pulls it well, certainly, and he's got the sweater. He's a bit of a sweater manager as well as a tracksuit manager, but also a suit manager. He kind of chooses amongst the three.
Because he's versatile. It's what he is. I know people have been complaining that he said he only has a plan A. Clearly, he's got a plan B and C, at least in his wardrobe. I like that. I like the flexibility.
Yeah, you have to admire it. You have to admire it. Kieran here says to dare is to diggery-do or
I
didgeridoo. There it is.
saw that earlier today, man. Very good. Very good.
The Australian, you would say the Aussie Spurs supporters clubs are probably just growing absolutely massive. And I even
Mhm.
also said, Nick, that Perth is, as the kids would say, is going to be lit this summer.
That's right. That's right, man. I got a lot of family down under, as it were, and they've already been contacting me, trying to test the waters, see how everybody feels about it, because they're not so sure either. They're not so sure how the rest of the world is going to take to an Aussie leading a top quality side like Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Mm.
But I've been telling them, okay, he's not everybody's first choice, but we're all warming up to the idea.
What I would say, though, is, the likes of Flav here, your man, he's already enjoying the Postecoglou. He's saying two
Wish you got some
Postecoglou.
Shiraz.
Someone in the comments I saw wrote, "Looks like he's been kidnapped," and this is his hostage photo, but to make sure that he's okay. But I believe he's on a nice little vacation. So Flab, hopefully you're keeping
Good for
well, my
him. Good for
friend.
him.
He's enjoying it. Michael Hamilton here is saying, would you be happy if the first three signings were James Madison, David Rea, Max Kilman? I think Max Kilman's really underrated, actually, Nick. And I think he's sort of somebody that maybe Postecoglou would like, in that he's all about being good in possession. He's that former
Hmm.
futsal player, right? And he's very silky on the ball, but I'm not too, sure about his sort of defending skills. But what I would say is that I do like him, and he would be maybe an underrated signing in my opinion.
Yeah, man, and I think we could get him for a reasonable price. He's better than what we've got, certainly. I want to see though. He's not a top tier choice for a
That's
center
true.
back. He isn't. He's kind of he's what's out there. The three aspects that we're all looking for is height and strength. I'm going to
Yeah.
combine that into one. Speed for the way Postacoglu likes to play. We're going to need people who track back and recover really quickly, and then good on the ball. Question is, how many of those does Kilman take? Is there a prospect out there that takes all three? I'm not so sure yet that there's a gettable one. I would not Max Kilman as long as there's others there as options and to support. I'm not against that at all. David Rea, my number one choice, without a doubt. I think we need to get that done today. We need to get that done by tomorrow at the latest. You appointed the manager, start things ticking over immediately. We all know, like it's got to be 90% of the fan base, of the scouts, etc. Say Raya is your man. Let's get that done now.
Is he, would you say, the best maybe keeper in the Premier League at this moment in time with his feet, or is he at least up there in the top three, would you say, for best Premier League sort of goalkeepers with their feet? Because that's, again,
With
what we
their
need is
feet.
guys
So
good in
I mean, with the
possession.
question like that, you got to talk about who else is better.
Ederson, I guess,
Ederson, yeah,
Allison.
Ederson's top of the list, right?
Pickford, is he better
I,
than Pickford?
It's like we've seen more of a test sample of Pickford than we have of Raya over the
Fair.
years. So I kind of got to give it to Raya because we've seen some clunkers from Pickford. I mean,
That's
he's
true.
good. He's good, but he's got flaws in his game in other places, and he's got he's
More of a
decent with
sample
his feet,
size.
but he's not great. He's not it's not a dime every time.
Mm.
So I would definitely put him above Pickford. Do you put him above Allison? Um, as far as distribution, not so sure.
I think I
Not so
would
sure.
actually just maybe
Yeah,
a little hot take on David Reyes. I think he's better with his feet than Allison. I think Allison's fine with his feet. I don't think he's incredible. I don't think he's the best in the league. I think where Allison sort of is a top goalkeeper is that he is pretty good with his feet, but he makes incredible saves to like
yeah.
keep them in the game. And I think David Rea, from the looks of things, he's a great shot stopper. But what I think everybody likes about him is that he's so good with his feet by also the metrics of it. So, and he also was brilliant against Spurs when they beat us at home. I thought with his feet every single time that they gave it back to him. I thought,
Absolutely, and something I mean we don't even need to mention it, but something that we've just been lacking for a decade, basically, is someone who can really pick out the pass under
yeah.
pressure. Is not going to clunk it when we need the points the very most.
Mm.
Just leave it at that.
My man Spurs72 says, "Back the team, not the regime." And like this, just again, the Ange, the Ange, just like artwork is just brilliant there. I really do. I'm looking forward to the Ange movie that's going to come out, by Disney. Spurs
Nice.
song sheet says he drinks the mythos, he eats the euros, he's Postecoglou. Patty Lastly here says, or at least at the top of the page, says, my only fear with the new manager appointment is that some players will get another chance that don't deserve one.
I mean, that's the big talking point. I think really, that's what it comes down to. Everybody talk about his style of play, but it's really, how he's going to interact with the board at the end of the day
Mm,
and how they're going to impress their plan for the future for some of these people that we thought should have been out the door years ago.
yeah.
Some of these people who went out the door, and unfortunately, we got to see them back in the door. And it's what are we going to do? The big names on the list, it's been bandied around
And guys like
heavily over the
Dyer
last
always
few
get
years.
one. Sanchez always get one. Davies
Yep.
might get one. Guys that even in this current 11 could get one that we don't want to see that happen to. And also, like you said, maybe some players coming back from loan that we just probably consider to be useless. Who knows? They might get one. There's always that risk. It never goes the way that when we do. I did a very therapeutic tier maker with Sean earlier where we were just getting
Mhm.
rid of a bunch of players. But when my thought, that I didn't bring up is it's not like it's always going to end up being that way, right? Where we get what, every single player out the door that we want. We keep every player that we want. There's always going to be one decision or two that might, throw us off for sure.
You got to say it's almost impossible for everything to get cleared
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
in a single transfer window with the new manager coming in. And of course, as it's been said, he's going to want to take a look at some of these people himself and see what he can do with them. The likes of Regulon and Don Belly are the ones that stick out the most for me. I think there's enough sample size of Dyer and Davies and Sanchez to
Mm.
see what works and what doesn't in this team. I don't really think you would need to take too big of a look. It's a matter of are you going to are you going to have their replacements ready made and ready to hit the ground running? But you know
Yeah.
what? It's you talked about this earlier in your show with Sean. Apparently Postecoglou doesn't have any problem with clearing out Deadwood and starting from scratch. But what I'm concerned about is the profile of the player. Is he capable enough to go against the board if a board wants a player played? And it's a high profile player that they paid a lot of money for, say a Tanguy and Dombele. If
Mm.
it doesn't work, uh, you know, preseason, it's okay. But he starts playing a couple of games and he's like, no, I don't. You know what? This guy's no good for me. I
Yeah.
have another person I want to play instead. Is he going to be okay sitting him on the bench?
Yeah.
Until midway through and possibly not even shifting them in the January transfer window. Yeah, that does one of those little question marks that we don't know how he deals with the highest level administration. Calling the shots.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, he's not exactly. I don't think he's going to be in any way the yes man when it comes to the players. Like I think he's going to stick it to a lot of the players, but
Mm.
like is he going to he's probably going to be a yes man with the board, to some degree. It's I think he's just the fact that he's going into this job in the first place sort of needs to, you need to be saying yes in some degree to the likes of
Yeah, you need to be realistic because the look at the other people that were in front of him
mhm,
in this search right now, and I think that the major problem, the major why reason why he's here right now is because quote he will work with the constraints that he's given. I'm paraphrasing there, but basically he'll work under
right.
the circumstances he's handed rather than making big demands and wanting control over the transfer budget is
Yes.
basically what it comes down to.
Yes.
So, you got to say, yeah, there's going to be a little yesing going on. You know, I, man, unfortunately, I think that this is the best circumstance we could ask for at the moment.
Mm. Cody Mack says Postecoglou appointed. Yes. Wants
Mm.
McGuire as first signing.
Oh,
No.
Cody, 100%. Please, whatever you do, I mean, if McGuire comes in, man, it's going to be, you're going to see a point where it's Moonhead and Slabhead standing right next to each
Oh,
other.
that's
Man,
just
what a nightmare that's going to turn out to be.
get a
No, you know
bucket.
what? McGuire has attributes that will come in handy, but man, it would just be, you want to talk about an underwhelming signing to people. There are so many other players out there available with better at younger, faster, stronger, smarter. Honestly, it's just this is not where we need to go. And as far as listen, it's maybe a hot take or something that people don't really talk about much. But man, can you imagine the look on Kane's face if he stays and he looks behind him and he sees it's Dyer and Maguire at his back? It's gonna be like 2018 all over again, man. When we want to talk about when Harry Kane started to drop back more, and in fact the whole team just we're in this rut where we constantly score and then we retreat and retreat for the rest of
Right.
the game. And I swear to you that all began during the Euros when Maguire it was either Euros or the World Cup 2018 World Cup where Maguire and Dyer were in regular rotation in the England squad. And Harry Kane knows exactly what's going to happen when they're together because he's lived through that nightmare before.
Yeah.
And that's why he keeps retreating because he knows he can't trust these guys.
Billy here saying no need to bring how much we paid into it. It's from the likes of Ali Ardiles here. If you didn't see this, it's actually quite funny. He said, "Welcome Ange Postepoglu to our club. All the very best from me and all our supporters." Not sure if that was an intentional sort of typo there, but interesting there. Interesting there from the likes of Ozzy. Are you going to put on your tinfoil hat? Do you think he misspelled that on purpose?
You know what, man? I think that there was probably that was an intentional slight at something. Hey, I it did cost us a lot. It cost us getting into Europe.
Yep.
It cost us whatever we had to pay out Conte, whatever we had to pay out Mourinho. This is what's brought us to this point right now. But what that's all right. I'm trying not to look back right now. It's I've got enough problems, enough things that cause me tears in my life. I'm looking forward with Ange right now.
I like it. Patty Power here already taking, the mick out of Spurs, saying Ryan
As they do.
Mason in November announcement of Big Ange Postecoglou with this meme here, the masculine urge to say we're back 20 minutes after saying it's over. I'm liking that. I'm liking that, James. Zeron here, or Darius, as we know him, says, "Believe it when I see it." And this is from, I believe, the news about certain players that might be shown the door. And it's from Tottenham Tiers via Dan Kilpatrick. And it says Hugo Lloris, Ivan Perisic, Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez had a list of at least 10 players whose fixtures or futures, excuse me, are under threat at Tottenham Hotspur. Ryan
Yeah.
Sessegnon, Lo Celso, Reguilon, Harry Winks, and Brian Hill could also leave as part of a clear out. Could also, I mean, that's a little scary when you hear Winks.
Right.
And then,
we thought that was done and dusted, man. You know what? It's I know it's Twitter, but statements like that need to have quotation marks around them because this is all pure speculation, and any one of us could have come up with that list, that exact same list. Yes, no kidding. Every one of those players, we're not really sure. You should have split it up. these are the players everybody knows they want out. These are the players that may hang around a little bit.
Also, good to see Darius there on the Twitter sphere. We have the likes of LJ1882 saying, I heard a pundit this morning describing Ange's style as being full of running. Wait till he meets Tanguy and Dombele. What do you make of the
Right.
fact that he might see a future with Tanguy? Or at least there's, again, I think you just said, right, can't really believe every report, but there are reports saying he might want to work with Tanguy.
Yeah, well, it's not shocking. It's not surprising. I've been thinking about that for 2 days, man. It's been keeping me up at night because I don't thought we were never going to have to see him in a Spurs shirt again. We all know how talented he is, but man, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't teach a stubborn, lazy ass dog to be a greyhound either, man.
Mm.
I think he's going to be as frustrated as everybody else is with him, and it's going to be back to the bench with you.
And are you excited about the new kits for next season? They've actually just made a total overhaul here. They've decided to just completely scrap them up, and these are the new home kits. What are your thoughts?
Nice, nice, nice. Get rid of the original colors, whatever. It's all. I like that, man. It's still better than what Nike's going to put out, probably anyway.
And then I'm not sure if you saw this one, last but not least, from Spicy Spurs, and then Patty Hartnett's in here. This is Ange's initial greeting to the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean that is exactly what we need, man. There's far too few headlocks going on now. I think. Oh man, harsh. There need to be more headlocks and noogies. That's basically what it comes down
I
to.
guess we said he might not be able to do this to the Tottenham board, but at least it's nice to see. And then he slapped Coys Daniel out of the tree as well. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. But there you are, everybody. That's our first attempt, at least, at a Twitter reacts for you guys. Sort of reacting to the bit of the Ange Postecoglou news, kind of just putting some other things up there. A bit of humor for this one. I think that's a good place to start. Maybe start with some sort of bright spirits. Nick, anything to say to the Irish Hotspur Army, the Harris Army, before we let you go, before we go?
All that, brothers and sisters. It's a new day. Let's all look forward. It's. I try to stay off Twitter unless there's some good news like this.
Good on
I'm
you.
going to be checking it every once in a while. You want to hit me? Hit me at Nick at Lazy801. But Jack, it's a pleasure as always, my friend.
You heard the man. You heard the man. Everybody hit that like button on the way out. Follow the likes of Nick. Follow the likes of Dave and myself if you want to be involved. And if you want to see your tweets put up on screen for the likes of Twitter Reacts, we will be seeing you. And as always, come on, you Spurs. In the big
Come on,
Ange
you
we
Spurs.
trust.